know is basically like a half a commitment contract. It's saying, hey, I'm going to market your property. I think you may want too much and it may not line up with what I need as an investor. At least that's how I set it up. And if I do find someone who really is looking to get your house at that price range and I can arrange that sale, then you send the purchase and sales agreement that says, hey, but you're not necessarily committed to that seller, which also means that the seller can go and find somebody else to solve their problems because you have not executed on that option. But it's a good tool to have in the toolbox. Yeah.
It definitely is, because we've had a lot of deals fall out lately, and it probably would be a better use of our time to present that option to the seller, because it requires less of a commitment and just allows you to market a deal that you don't know for sure if you'll hire for, which seems to be a lot nowadays. So
yeah. An option contract, even if it's written correctly, will even let you put it on MLS and deal with the agent on behalf of the seller. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
I actually might need to take that tool. I might need to borrow an option contract from you. Or steal one.
We'll see. Part of SubTo, and so I don't want to break my non-disclosure. So tell me, obviously we are all dealing with the goofy things in the market right now. I mean, I may have even revived that Middleville property, by the way, but we'll see. Literally had a conversation today with someone. We'll see. No promises. So the reason, so Shane and I have, we found a friendship at a local investor's house, Ryan LaRue, who was on this phone call or on this live with me earlier this week. Hi, Moniquita. And we had a good time. You and my husband now are splash bros, right?
That's right.
Uh-huh. And then Shane brought an opportunity to me in Michigan after that, because it was a creative deal. However, the issue, it became a bigger issue in that the agent wanted their commission. And then, so right now, at least last time I talked to her, she just wants the listing agreement to kind of go by the wayside, and then she'll do something with us. The funny part is that the procuring cause wasn't the agent at all. So what happened with that one, Shane? How did you even get a hold of that person?
It was really weird. She just ended up being a part of my texting campaign in St. Louis. And it was a wrong number, but she said she had a house to sell. So I asked more questions to find out about the house.
Yeah. I want to get this recorded too, in case we end up closing and the agent's like, wait, I was procuring cause. I'm like, no, you weren't. It was actually a wrong number.
It did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So, we might have revived it. We're going to look into see if the person who is looking for this kind of deal, they would be a homestead buyer. Mm-hmm. If this is a good arrangement for them, where maybe we were talking about maybe $22,000 to $25,000 to the table, which isn't like a big payout, but because the house is, the market has already shifted, even though it appraised for like 525 or 535, I don't remember, this past summer, it literally, all of that is gone.
Relevant, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not very relevant anymore. Correct. Yeah. All right. So tell us, what have you been doing with all what's going on in the market right now?
I mean, everything needs to be adjusted on our end. So, I mean, obviously initially I was not doing the smart thing, and I was still just, locking deals up to, I wouldn't say too high, but locking deals up at a price that made sense 5 months ago that doesn't make sense now, thinking that I can make it work. And we've just had a ton of fallout. So, we just have to be very selective on the deals that we do get under contract now. I think, like you said, just being able to know different, I think being able to know different options and also have different exit strategies is key. I think along with that is really making sure you have like a really good deal. Like the best example I can think of is, I actually made a video about it the other day, is I was super excited about this deal. We had a duplex under contract. It was a side-by-side duplex in a decent area. There was a house, there's another duplex exactly like it across the street that one of the units sold for $180,000, and we were getting the full duplex for $250,000, and it was going to cost us like $2,500 to split it into 2 individual condos. So originally we were going to buy it for $250,000, spend $2,500 splitting the parcel, and then sell each unit for $180,000. But then interest rates have gone up twice since we closed the deal. So my partner and I were a little concerned that we wouldn't find a buyer at $180,000 anymore. So luckily we had a good deal, which again, I think that, a lot of people have been talking about how this is going to force everyone to really get good deals. So luckily we had a good enough deal that we were able to just wholesale it and still make a good profit off of it. But it was a bummer because obviously we wanted to make a lot more. But just knowing how to, we could have just let that fall completely off, but knowing how to pivot and knowing, what kind of relationships you need in order to, adjust on deals like that, I think is super important right now.
Oh, my husband's joined. Maybe he'll bring me the phone that I forgot to bring to call people with. Very cool. You're absolutely right. We find ourselves in a similar circumstance in Round Rock, Texas, where all the equity we had is totally gone. So now luckily we bought it so low that we just wiped $100,000 out of it, and we have 50 grand still to go before we're at our break even. So we are already talking about what does plan B look like, though, because the property is ours at this point. And knowing that, talk about how good we bought it, though. I'm trying to focus on the positive, because I'm like, geez, we bought this to make close to 150 grand. And unfortunately, this is not the way it's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of positive. I mean, that's a phenomenal deal. Obviously, it's things that, you're obviously not doing what you expected. But, I mean, hopefully you're not thinking that you're going to have to lose money at this point, because I know so many other people, myself included, have I picked a horrible time to start flipping houses. Have deals that are going to lose money. So that's always stressful. But again, because you did such a good job finding a really good deal, market shift didn't mean, you didn't make as much money, but not losing money, I think, is a really big win right now.
Yeah. Well, and we're looking at different products too, to say, okay, do we want to keep this property and ride out this wave for 2 years? What does that look like? So we are trying to look at it more from the macro level and say, have we put enough reserves in our business? Have we been running a tight enough ship? Which I feel I have. We actually haven't had a disbursement because I'm like, okay, I think we need to pause for a moment when things started shifting in like June, July, because I want to make sure that our private money lenders are paid, right? Like that we're first taking care of the monies we said we were going to take care of, and do right by those things. And so even if I have to take an interest only loan, there's some interest only loans that have a prepayment penalty the first 3 years, but oftentimes they have a step down. So if you can find one with a step down, and incorporate what that prepayment might look like if you then get to a point where you can sell, that's just a strategic way of doing it. So
Yeah, I know I have a lot to learn from you, and I think that, just everything that's going on, like, it's kind of cool hearing what you're saying because it's forcing you to look at your business a lot deeper, which if everybody does that, once everyone gets out, like, I think for me, I've been hustling for 2 years and, being forced to turn a hustle into a business or really like fine tune a business, I think, doing that has a lot of value and being able to get through, all the changes that are going on and help you win on top.
Yeah.
You get all this craziness.
Okay, so we just had a question from Duke's Wealth Investments. He said, how far do you guys go back when looking at comps? So I would say I have a different answer today than I did, 4 months ago. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I only go back, I go 90 to 180 days, depending on the area.
Oh, so you're still going back 180.
Yeah. It depends on the area,
Yeah.
I have a lot of buyers that buy off of cash flow, so comps aren't as huge of a factor for our deals, but I still, if I go back 180, it just has to be like a very, very similar house.
Got it. So your comps, are they more rental comps or are they cost of the property? Because if I'm assuming here, you're probably then in an area that's not as fast appreciating. So
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, there are areas in my market that are like that. And then, there's areas that are just strictly, primarily like a rental market. They don't have much appreciation. So, comps come into play, but more so condition, the property, stuff like that. Oh, you got your phone.
He brought me the phone.
Is one of them an Android?
So this one's an Android. We had to get an extra line when my son jumped into the pool with his iPhone, and so it's been interesting because I've had this iPhone since February, March, I don't remember, and so coming back to an Android, I was like, oh my God, this is now foreign to me. No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was forced into getting an iPhone, and it was a terrible decision.
I would say the same. My children really wanted an iPhone. We want to do more business with Pace, and he's like, blue team, and I'm like, ugh. So that's how I broke it to him, and I was like, hey, what color is your message? He's like, oh, it's blue.
That's funny. Yeah. The iPhone users just love that blue.
Yeah. And I'm like, what's the color of money though?
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, snap. I hate to cut this short, but my wife is about to kick me out, put me on daddy duty.
No, love it. I thank you for coming on. How do we add value to your business, and what could we do for you?
Yeah, good question. Bring me deals in St. Louis, always. I'm starting to share content, so give me feedback. I love feedback. I know I look like a cornball in half the video, so but
look at me. I don't wear makeup. I got little bags under the eyes. My hair is fluffy. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate it. Send him all your St. Louis stuff. And I know he's looking for creative buys in Gilbert. So
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, anything Gilbert.
Awesome.
To me.
Nice. Thanks, Shane.
I'll talk to you later. See ya.
Bye. All right. And it looks like Alex, when he does his comps, he's looking back 60 days. So Arizona in the primary markets, not necessarily the secondary markets like, Santan Valley or Florence, where those numbers may not move as fast. You definitely want to be a bit more conservative on how much data you're taking that goes way back. But okay, so in the meantime, I do want to make the announcement that we did meet the $1,000 yesterday. So I uploaded the LOI, the letter of intent template, into my LinkedIn tree or my link tree, whatever it's called. And then I also uploaded my entry fee calculator. You have to make a copy though. Do not ask me for more permissions. So what you do is you go into the file. I believe there's a file button. If you have the G Drive, the app, there's like the 3-digit button. I can't recall. Anywho, if you look at my stories from last night, you'll see you have to make a copy, because if I don't have you make a copy and other people are going in there, they might change the calculation. Might be a fat finger accident, not on purpose sort of thing. So I'm not going to judge people in case that's exactly how it happens. But Alex, thanks for your feedback in that you take the last 60 days. So let's see, that LOI says we have to have permission to access it. In general, we can't even see it. Oh, okay. Try again, because I did work on it today. I did get that feedback, so thank you. I worked with Troy, one of my friends, and he said it should now work. So if it doesn't work, come back on the live or whatnot and let me know, and we'll fix it. All right. So again, guys, why am I doing this? We are raising money for Latinos Contra El Cancer. Now is good. Okay, cool. I'm glad. I thank you so much, all of you. Thank you for the money that we've raised. You guys helped me get to my first week goal, which was get to 1,000. We are at $1,177.85. I think the pennies are always funny to me. Let's see. Let's make sure that that's correct, because it's been a minute since I came in here. Oh, no. Let's see. I went to refresh it, but it's doing something goofy now. So what questions do you guys have? What's come up in your business since we last met yesterday? I did follow up with some of the agents. One of them, their seller decided they weren't interested. Another one, they don't have time to talk until tomorrow. So I'll be reaching out then. And maybe I'll go live when I speak with him. I don't know. Part of reaching out to agents is not just like, if you think about the wholesale direct to seller model, most sellers, unless they're portfolio owners, you're only going to have one transaction for the most part. But when you start creating relationships with agents, as they get different circumstances, they have different sellers at different times that they cross paths. That means they can actually be an engine for you to get different deals at different times. But what does that mean? They're not going to remember you. I'm not that special. You're not that special. So that means that you're going to have to do follow-up. And as everybody says, the fortune is in the follow-up. And nothing can be more, more true than that. So I just want to make sure that if you are employing an agent outreach approach, that you're considering the fact that this could be great relationships that you create, and that they can actually produce deals for you on more than one occasion. That's why agent outreach can be so lucrative if you have the right intentions, if you have the right knowledge to provide value. And if you don't have that knowledge and somebody is asking for help, squat up. That's what the SubTo community here is for, is what I'm here for. And it's something that our mentor, Pace Morby, definitely enforces, so that folks can actually be, used for all the knowledge that is provided to us in the SubTo community. All right, so let's do some agent outreach. I don't think I'm going to stay on the live for as long tonight either. I have a lot of homework to do. So what's been really awesome about this is that, been able to do a lot of back and forth with all of you, having good discussions with agents. But that also means that a lot of the admin work that I would normally do during the evening, I've not been doing it. So it's just making my whole week a little bit more intense because I have more to do. And that's all about like time blocking, right? Like what time of day should you do certain things? And so I'm a little bit behind on, I'm not a little bit, I'm a lot behind on stuff that I thought I would be completed with. All right, so this property here, and again, ask your questions. We're about to call another agent right now. This property is in Mesa. Have I already called on this house? I think I may have already called on this house. Once again. I called the other day, so I am not going to call on that house. This is another open door. Another open door. All right, why am I not calling open door? Because open door technically has a whole bunch of hard money out there, so it's just not worth spending the time to do that. Ingryd is the greatest to ever do it. What? Caroline? What are you doing? You want to come on the live with me? I miss you, my friend. Hi, 777. Oh, dang. Are you a gambler? I don't know. The only place I see that is there. Is that TJ? What's up, TJ? How's it going? All right. So let's see here. Yep, I've already called on this one. Oh, goodness gracious. Starting to overlap on these houses that have been sitting here for quite some time. Maybe I should start with the higher price stuff. No, you're just lucky. Good for you. That's a great perspective to have. As they say, prime your RAS. What's RAS? Your reticular activating system. Means what you say to yourself and what you believe over and over again. So if you believe you're lucky, you say you're lucky, I am statements, your brain believes you and then only looks for those filters that further proves that it's right. So good for you. Prime your RAS, guys. Prime your RAS. It's all about that RAS. All right. This one I don't think I called on. It is in Mesa. Just want to make sure real quick. I've actually started seeing descriptions where agents are like, no creative finance. So I believe you guys are doing a good job in reaching out to agents. Now, I don't know how good you've been at explaining what creative finance is, but they're listening. Licensed agents, all facts and figures are approximate. Oh, wait, hold on. This might be a flip. It's in beautiful condition. I don't know. It just says non-MLS. Can contracts be with builders be wholesaled? Contracts with builders be wholesaled? I don't know the answer to that. I think what you're saying is, I don't know what you're saying, actually. Can you say it differently? And maybe I can better understand what you're saying. Because I do know of some buyers who had properties under contract for them, their new build, and they ended up just selling their property before they moved in. And so I want to say the answer is yes, if that's what you're asking. I just don't know if wholesalers per se are the type of person who typically does that. I don't know. I know I've wholesaled a failed development. So if you guys have developments out there in really nice areas, I wholesaled a property in Sedona with the amazing Anthony Pappas and Dario. And that property had all the contracts, all the permits active and was ready to be a townhouse, 10 townhouses, if you will. And they ended up, failing at actually executing on building it. And so then we came in and we were able to help them sell it to an end buyer. So I'm going to say yes. I mean, we can wholesale almost anything. There might be some navigation you got to do because some of those contracts are written really for retail buyers.
Hello, this is Maggie.
Hey, Maggie. My name is Ingryd Hernandez. Are you available to talk about your property on Dobson and Guadalupe?
Which one is that? Can you give me the street?
Oh, yeah, Pampa Avenue.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. I just, it's showing pretty nice. just really quickly, is this a home that was flipped?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this a flipped house?
It's what?
Is this house a flip, a remodel?
Yes.
It is. Okay. The reason I'm calling is that I'm also an investor, and I look for properties where I could get really great rents. This obviously would, because it's in really great condition. But the way that I also like to purchase is through creative finance. Do you know if they have like a hard money on it, or is this like a conventional loan?
Probably a hard money. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. This might not be a great fit then. I was ready to give them the price they're looking for, but to take over their mortgage and see what we could do about that equity.
Okay.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you-
Yeah, they're wanting to cash out. They're not wanting to
yeah,
carry it or anything.
no, that makes sense. Do you happen to have any other properties that you might be in a situation where it's been listed a while, but they could carry it?
Not really. Not offhand. I'd have to think about it. If you want to text me your name and phone number, and your question, I can kind of look and see what we've got. If there's something, I can get back with you.
Yeah, no problem. I can absolutely do that. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Maggie.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Well, that's cool. Again, agents are being way more open to potentially hearing us out. So this is great. If anyone has a vacant land in Tucson, I'm your guy. There you go. You heard Alex. He wants to be your guy for vacant land. So I will call Maggie and see what else she might have from a creative finance perspective. Do you see? I'm not that special. I'm not like saying anything like supreme on these calls with these agents. It's just like, hey, you think they'll let me take over that loan? Oh no? Okay. You got anything else? So I don't know what you're saying seriously, but hopefully it's that I'm not that special. Matthew, do you want to come on here with me? I want to know how you're doing. How are things doing with Matthew? Is one of my faves. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm gonna put him on the spot. He's probably on the toilet. Like, what are you doing? Trying to put me on?
What's up, Ingrid?
You're not on the toilet. Yes.
No, I'm not.
That's good. How's it going?
I'm good.
Awesome. Very cool.
I was just doing some comps right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
How's business for you?
it's good. I got 2 in escrow right now assigned. So just seeing what's going on with that, trying to get some more offers out. I like this live. I was actually thinking about doing something like this, like calling agents on all lives.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I can't recall if it was you or somebody was telling me that maybe it was Gabe actually, but that they really hadn't focused on agents because they were so hard to talk to a few months ago. And I'm like, man, they have changed their tune. Trust me. Call them. Mm-hmm.
That wasn't me that said that, though. I've been working with agents probably since like April.
Oh, fantastic. Is that how you're finding your deals?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them, I just dispo other wholesalers' deals.
Okay, you're doing astro flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Which is astro flipping? Would you just say it's just dispo? I don't want to say the word just, but.
I mean, it's a lot of agents and dispo. But I mean, overall, if you think about it, even all these agent deals, and Jamil preaching, going to agents, even with Pace, it's like someone has to be a buyer for that.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many ways to make money, even with just agents. And like competition is now going up with agents because a lot of people are realizing like, hey, their phones aren't ringing. But if you don't want to be in that competition, just give these people buy numbers and then take their deal and then go find the buyer for it. Like, it's just crazy right now.
Yeah. And are you finding that the seller's more malleable to hearing like, what's your average, 50 cents on the dollar or what?
In Tucson, yeah, we're going about like 55. And then Phoenix right now, like 60 to 65.
Really? And
Yeah.
people are still buying it. So would you say your specialty of end buyer then is probably like a buy and hold buyer?
I mean, right now, yeah, a lot of buyers are looking more to at least be able to hold. Like, I still have my fix and flippers, and the ones that are fixing and flipping right now have their crews on salary. So they're saving a lot on construction already. And yeah, the other ones are really just buy and hold buyers.
Yeah. That is interesting. I do wonder the impact that this correction really has had on folks who have construction staff. You know, they're having to make do. Because I know that we have a really excellent contractor that works for us, and that's what he runs. He has crews that he's running.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. Oh, you know who? Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And I can't, I don't know what his circumstance is if he's got that many crews, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy too. The people that do have crews right now, they're willing to make like 5-10K on a flip just so that they can keep their crew busy because they don't want to lose them. It's nuts.
Yeah. That is nuts to think of that, just how much risk that also entails. So yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well,
so you just calling agents right now and just pitching like only creative?
Yeah, only. I'm not even doing cash.
Are you targeting like 60 plus days or like What are you targeting for creative right now?
That's what I'm targeting. We're when we started this live earlier this week, what I said to everybody was like the literal winter is coming. Like, November, December is when naturally sales tank. Yeah. So if you're doing 90 days, that still works because you're getting that, you're getting those who are already somewhat in pain. But if you get agents that are around that 60-day marker, you're really just introducing yourself and you're reminding them of the pain that's coming, And so a lot of times I talk to agents and I said, hey, can I be your plan B?
Right.
Yeah. No.
Are you using Privy to find these or are you using like Zillow or MLS? Well, you have MLS access.
Yeah. MLS. Yeah. You should get your license, Matthew.
Yeah. I'll once wholesaling is regulated, I'll just find someone that has a license and have them work for me.
Work for you? All right. Yeah.
I don't need it.
Well, like I was saying, I think not my last deal, but one of my last deals, I got in the doors because I was a listing agent, and I was like, "Oh, you're not looking to like sell and buy in like the next 6 months." They're like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna sell and not buy another house for another 5 years." And I was like, so if that's the case, how about and then I put it in their terms, right? Like if we do a creative deal, put money aside that just sits there, and in 5 years you can take it out to go buy another house. Does that work for you? Because if we would have just listed it, they would have made like $35,000 to $55,000. But after I did my math and figured out our circumstance, I was able to make them $120,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So that blows your mind.
Oh yeah. This creative stuff is just like absolutely insane. And it's crazy too how Pace was talking about like 6 months ago that he did not like working with agents. And now it's like all these agents are just, they need offers. Like I'm literally having people come to me saying like, please just lowball me, because then it'll at least make my seller more realistic, and like hopefully we can even just drop price. Like, and I'm more than happy to do that too, because it's like I honestly don't care if you accept that and you just want me to lowball, because yeah, maybe someone else can come in that is actually looking to live here and can actually get it at a good price now.
Yeah. Yep. Are you okay? So let's untangle that a little. So if you give them a low ball price, what are you eating? A burrito? What is that? Ramen noodles?
Tea.
Okay. Central Perk. Oh my God, speaking my language. Are you a Friends fan?
Of course.
Oh, excellent. So when I do my friends jokes on my stories, you'll actually understand them. That's great.
Oh,
No, so if you lowball them, your strategy is just to help the agent bring the seller to some sort of understanding, and then they can lower the price for somebody who's really looking to buy. Or are you finding that retail buyer?
No, I mean, if they're saying like, hey, lowball me, I'm getting my offer and I'm probably going to go about like 100K under that, maybe even less. And then hopefully then it's like, you counter that and I could still lock it up. But if not, then it's like at least they're a little more realistic and going to see where offers are coming in at. Like I had one that was 70 days on market, 0 offers. She's like, please just make an offer. Literally listed at ARV. And I was like, I'm going to be significantly below this. I don't even want to offer on this. Like, I just don't want to offend you and the seller. Like, it's okay. We'll get another deal in the future. She's like, no, like, please, like, just make an offer. Like, I don't care what it is. I made that offer $250K under list price. And they didn't accept it. But now it's like, she's like, the seller at least is like thinking about either, price dropping or they're just going to rent it themselves. And I was like, well, if they're going to rent it themselves, I can provide some cash flow and possibly even give them some type of down payment and we could pay your commission. Is that something that you'd be interested in? And then she said that seller's done it before and like, he doesn't want to get burned and do it again, but I have her on my follow-up for next week. I'm going to pitch it again.
Performance deed.
So how would that work?
So performance deed is really just an addendum with paragraph in the servicing that somebody like Westar does. You should all, for those of you who are taught creative finance correctly, you should always have a servicer between you and the loans. So then you have a third party who's tracking, yes, Matthew paid that money. He paid it on this date, and this is now the balance as a result of what he paid. So because you have that third party involved, that third party has to go by whatever guidelines you give them. So that guideline can include what's called a performance deed. It's really just a paragraph in their servicing contract that says, if Matthew misses 2 payments on this creative finance deal, on day 46, that deed goes back to the seller. Now this, for states like Florida, it's called deed in lieu of foreclosure. In Arizona, it's called a performance deed. And this allows or gives some comfort to the seller that the servicer so there's a third party, an unbiased third party. All they're doing is math, which is, hey, today is day 46 or whatever. And the reason I say day 46 is because sometimes, let's say you have your portfolio is really big, and now you're on something happened with your bank account, whatever. So you've missed one. By the time you've missed the second one, at least you might have enough time to actually fix the problem, because it might not be you don't have money. It might just be a technicality. So this deed allows you to at least have some time to track it. Now, if you're tracking your portfolio, this is why PACE has an asset manager, right? Like somebody should be tracking, hey, I own 50 properties now. Yep. All have gotten paid. Here's what that should look like. You should have somebody tracking, when are all your balloons due? Hey, you're 6 months away from your balloons. You need to start thinking about free financing. All those things that come with asset managing. But anyway, back to your problem at hand, which is do a performance deed and say, hey, I want to make sure your seller's protected too. So here's how we do that for you so that they don't have to go pay $5,000 to a lawyer and figure out the foreclosure process.
I didn't know the wording of that, but I kind of said that. I basically was like, hey, if I don't make a payment, the deed just transfers in their name. I didn't know that that's what that's called. And I mean, I'll definitely explain that next time I talk to her, because I mean, it's still on market right now. But I also I need to get on the phone with the seller too, because I don't think she necessarily might have explained it as best as she could. You know what I mean?
So are you using a full-on contract when you send your offers?
It just depends. So really what I do is I'll give them a range on the phone of where I need to be and then gauge it from there. And if they're like, oh yeah, you know, we can make something work around there, then I'll send it. But if not, then that's when I kind of go into creative and then see what they're saying from there too.
Got it. So the reason I was asking is because what I've started doing now is just sending out letter of intents. Contracts are just too administratively burdensome, and I pay a service a TC within the SubTo community because they're amazing. And unfortunately, you can only have service through them if you're a SubTo student. That's how busy we keep them, actually. But I don't want to do the TC work. So I have them doing it. So for now, I'm sending what's called letter of intent. And because we reached $1,000 this week on my fundraising for Latinos Contra El Cancer, that's why I'm doing these lives, is to really fundraise at the expense of my business, by the way, because since I'm doing these lives, this is usually the time I would be doing a lot of my business in the evening. So it's okay, just 1 week. But if you go into my link tree, you don't do it right now, Matthew. But in my bio, there's a link, and in that link, you'll see a free entry calculator, which I actually think I've given to you in the past. I don't recall. And then an LOI template. And in that template, you can just say exactly what you want at a summary level instead of having to write out a full contract.
No, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I basically, like, when I'm sending my offer and I do it through an email, right? Because we're obviously having the realtor write it up too, like, so that they can get both sides. Like, I just literally have a template with just address, my terms, and then my POF, and then just send that in.
Oh, fantastic. I think that's fine too. The only reason I use an LOI template, well, you said it right now. You do use a template for your email. I just like to have it look a little bit more professional, like structured, you know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also telling them though, like, hey, you know, we're a small mom and pop shop. Like, you know, we don't have like all these systems and everything. Like, we're just a small mom and pop shop. You know, this is what we can do for you guys and try and help you out, and then try and get it that way too, you know?
Mm-hmm. So Kalisha Carter asked, and hopefully I said your name right, I sent a text message after speaking with an agent. Do you think it's better to send the LOI? I think it's better than text. You know, obviously communicate however you believe works with that agent. I'm 40 years old. I still prefer calling. So I think if you at least have it in writing, text is good. I still think that when you send it via email, it might just look a little better. That's just my old millennial, you know, I'm on the older side of the millennials perspective. And just like Matthew said, you know, you got to say I'm just a mom and pop here, not necessarily a big business doing this. So let's work something out.
100%. And like, yeah, you got to also, like, when you do email them, make sure that they got that, whether that be from a phone call or a text right after. I mean, even on the buyer side, you should really be doing that too, because then that really just builds that relationship to confirm that, you know, they're getting what you're actually sending and that you're doing what you're saying.
Well, if you send it through DocuSign, you know when they've opened that email and when they.
Right, but they'll send it through DocuSign, just say, hey, I just sent it to this email. Did you receive it? I
see what you're saying. Follow up with a text. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or even a phone call, you know, because I mean, they're more inclined to also look at it right after when you do send that text or a phone call right after you send an email.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Because why?
You're building that relationship.
And time kills deals. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that too. Like, crazy.
Yeah, right on. Well, Matthew, thank you so much. So how's your business going? Anything we could do to help you and send you more?
Yeah, bring me deals. I'm looking to just dispo right now. I just hired a VA to just search for more buyers for me, because I think right now, like obviously, creative is going to be amazing, but for those people that do have cash deals, the real thing is going to be getting them sold, because a lot of buyers are starting to back out. So I'm really just going to hone down on hiring VAs and stuff like that, and just really getting a lot of buyers. So if you're looking to wholesale anything, like I'm just building my buyers list pretty big right now.
And where are your buyers list at?
Right now, I'm solely doing Arizona. I will probably expand. I would say probably at the beginning of the year. I just want to do a couple more deals here first. But where else are you doing deals? You're only doing Arizona and then what, like Florida?
Arizona, Texas, and on occasion Florida. Yeah. So those are the 3 main states at the moment. I was doing deals in Vegas, but we didn't really get beyond 2 for us. And we're a small mom and shop place, and so we don't do as many deals because we saw ourselves as buyers. So usually it was like, how are we going to buy this deal? So we were doing 1 to 2 deals a month because that's the kind of hat we wore.
Right.
So now as we start repositioning ourselves, I still am a buyer. I am a buyer for creative finance deals. What I'm finding, though, is that people need to do better about negotiating their creative deals. They're still doing it in a way where the cash on cash return is like 5%. And I'm like, no, thank you.
I'm getting that'll send me creative deals, and it's like, dude, I could get a better loan at the bank right now. Like, what is this?
Yeah. So for me, rule of thumb right now, because of the desperation of a lot of folks, if your down payment is above like 5%, and I wouldn't have said this like just a few months ago, but if it's above 5%, I'm not looking at your deal. It's a time waste for me.
Does it also kind of depend on rehab though?
Yes. Okay. So I can also be very greedy right now. I know, and I was saying this earlier this week where I was like, I know Brent Daniel says ugly houses, big checks, but with creative finance, beautiful houses, little checks are just fine with me too. Because that's the buy and hold mentality where, okay, if I can buy a property for less than 30 grand, I'll say, right, inclusive of wholesale fee, closing costs, down payment to seller, all that, and I don't need to rehab the property, I can then, boom, just start buying, holding, and cash flow. Why would I want to waste my time fixing and flipping houses when ultimately I'm just doing that to get to buy and hold? And and why would I? Now, I will still wholesale for sure. But yeah, that's kind of my perspective.
I mean, totally, it's like the reason we all get into real estate in the first place is to build generational wealth. And it's like really the only way to do that is by owning wholesale, flipping, are just high income paying jobs.
Yeah. Totally. There was this property in California that hey, Derek. Oh my gosh, does Derek have his blue check? Holy smokes. I'm sure Pace is totally jealous over that. But there was this property in California. The seller was like, I will do anything, however we need to structure this. But they needed like at least $200,000 down. And I could not for the life of me make the math work because that's how bad loans are right now. And this is like a higher price property, like 1.5. And even 1.5, it was priced well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. Where in California was it?
In the San Jose area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to look into it?
Red states.
Well, and I also saw that I was like, okay, short-term rental, but they don't have a pool. And I want to say the person who was looking at the deal didn't pay attention to that nuance when they were underwriting it. And they're like, oh, it's going to make amazing money as a short-term rental. And then I'm like, is it? like red flag right away, especially in hotter states. If it doesn't have a pool, you're probably already not a good a good comp. So. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about like sober livings and like residential assisted livings and stuff like that?
Well, I'm already thinking like, how do I pivot to use that strategy? I'm already actively looking for properties for sober living. I have an amazing partner who wants me to find creative properties, and he will partner up with me on those properties. And all I have to do is find them. So I'm looking for creative deals that are in the East Valley near public transportation, like the closer to the train, the better. And then in Central Phoenix. So nothing on the west. All my deal flow people are bringing me, it's all with West Valley, and I'm like, stop it. Yeah. And so I want East Valley and Central, 4-bedroom, 2.5 to 3 bath, and so that we can make it into a sober living property. But I'm also looking for short-term rentals too. So a kind of similar setup, except it has to have a pool. And that's where I'm at with that. Now, the property on Longfellow, right? The house I bought from you.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask you about that.
Yeah, we've made some progress on that house. I don't think I told you that the house actually had an additional 600 square feet, or maybe I did.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think so. Damn, I underpriced it.
And so, well, I think that's what's going to save me on this deal. So.
No, regardless, even if you don't sell it, that house would just be a cash flowing machine. Because like even like what you said too, long term renting the front or the back, and then short term renting the other one, like that would be crazy on that. And it's such a good area too, and it's like really close to Broadway and that mall right there. And then it's like right in the middle of campus and then that mall, which is like absolutely insane.
Yeah. So what we've been thinking for that property, if we can't sell it on a flip, maybe we do look into it as either a short-term rental and put like a hot tub, like it needs a water source. Or use it for like more luxury sober living, because there are other sober living areas. And I'll have to show you an update, or I don't know if you watched the live, but I made that first bedroom bigger. So now every room in that house, every bedroom is significantly large. And so from a sober living perspective, like it just makes it more attractive.
Yeah, and the fact that it's right next to that park. I mean, even residential assisted living too, but obviously that has a lot more nuances that you have to like, doorways, put sprinklers in, exit signs, like all that other stuff,
Yeah.
But either way, I think that property is just killer. That's such a good property.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. I wish if that house was somehow in, up here in Chandler, that's the kind of house I would like to live in. So.
Yeah, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, I'm going to let you get back to it. I'm hoping to make a couple more calls before I have to wrap it up. But thank you so much for jumping on the live and just.
Yeah, having me.
Yeah. And so how do we get a hold of you if we do need your dispo help?
You can follow me on Instagram, wherever my name is. You can also add me on Facebook, which is my name, just Matthew Justice. My phone number, let me find it real quick.
Why does he need to find it? Because it's his very specific phone number.
Exactly. It is. Once this loads, I'll drop it in the chat, actually.
Awesome sauce. Normal sale.
Once it loads. It's like 987.
5309.
And Facebook is probably the best.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to put it in the comments, cool beans.
Yep. having me on. I appreciate it.
No, thanks, Matthew. And hopefully we get to see you soon. Are you coming up for a meetup anytime soon?
When's the next one?
I don't know when Ryan's is. Ryan Zolan does that the first week of each month, the first Tuesday of each month. I know SoulPod's starting to have their stuff on Wednesday mornings at like 7 a.m. I don't know if it's every week. But I will say that if you want to get through this tough season, the way to do it is to have more networking opportunities. And I'm not just blowing smoke. It's why I'm doing this live. It's why I'm trying to provide value, is because the only way we're going to get through this is to leverage each other's skill set that maybe we don't have. Like, I'm not great at dispo. I'm good enough to know a Matthew and say, hey, Matthew, how do we team up and help me dispo this? So, yeah.
Yeah. I just dispoed Angel and Steven's property. That's one of the ones that I have in escrow right now, too.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. Cool. Well, I might have a creative one that we need to talk about then. I just think the cash on cash is not great, but maybe you have the right buyer in because it will cash flow.
Yeah. Let me know. A lot of my buyers are looking for a lot of different stuff right now, too. So, yeah, just let me know. Like I said, I'm still adding people that are looking right now too. So
yeah, super awesome, Matthew. We'll have a good one.
Bye.
Sweet. So that was Mr. Justice. What a cool last name too, which I love it. His mom's also the best. All right, so found another agent to call. It's always good to have a good dispo person, honestly, because they have their pulse on what the buyers want. And just as Pace says, always find your buyer first. Well, if you have a good disposition partner, technically that's a collection of buyers, and they can tell you whether or not something is worth pursuing or not. So just a thought. All right. Here we go. This property's been on the market for 90 days.
Hello, this is Aaron.
Hey, Aaron. This is Ingryd Hernandez. Are you available to talk about the property on Mesquite?
We actually just approved a tenant for that one.
Oh, got it.
I know the owner still wants to sell it, but we had it listed for a long time and then nothing happened. So she told us to just rent it and try again in 6 months.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, the reason I'm calling is because I like to buy creative finance wise. Do you know what she got for rent?
$2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month? Really?
Yeah.
That seems a little low. Interesting. Did you have a tough time renting it?
It's a 6-month lease, so that might be why.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I live and rent around this area, and so I was just curious. So, well, I would love to buy it from your sellers. Like I was saying, I focus on creative finance. Were they ever offered a creative finance deal?
Yeah, we had a couple people actually ask about that, but it was just something that she didn't want to do.
Got it. She doesn't want to hold a note.
No.
Okay, no worries. Well, do you have anything else that you might be in a similar circumstance where a creative finance offer may help you?
No, not that I know of. I mainly do property management.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Is that your focus then?
Yeah, like short-term rentals, like Airbnbs and VRBOs.
Oh, wonderful. Can I keep your number as I continue to build my my short-term rental portfolio?
Sure.
What do you normally charge for that type of work, for that operation?
20% of the revenue.
Okay. Gross or net?
Gross.
Gross. Okay, cool. Well, thanks, Aaron, for taking my call. And if they decide to change their mind, as we all brace for what's to come, let me know, and I'm happy to send a creative finance offer.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, thanks. Bye-bye. Well, there you go. See, you guys are getting out there and making those calls. That's awesome. So they've gotten creative finance offers, just not a good fit for them. 2,000 seemed really low for that house, which is interesting. I gotta go look at where it's at, because it should have fetched like 2,600. Oh, 100%. They under rented this property. And they focus on property management. Okay. That's all the bad talking I'll do. If you know your area, and then the area where that house is, it really should have fetched some more. But maybe it's just because they didn't want to go past 6 months. And honestly, I don't think the market gets better in 6 months. I think it might actually get worse. So who knows? That is probably a good follow-up to say, hey, what you got? How can we work together and make this a win-win scenario? But Margie Justice joined us. Margie, you missed your son. He was on here with us. He's so awesome. You raised such a cool kid. I love it. All right, this is an offer pad home. That's not gonna work. Seriously, everything that's left over is all these open door properties. I keep like scrolling through them. And why can't I buy open door? Because technically they have like what we would call hard money on those houses. So I can't take over their loans even if I wanted to. Leonard, I know this agent. Wait, this house looks like it's his house. So cool. I love when I run into an agent I know. I wonder if he'll remember who I am. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Buyer, agent, seller's agents related to seller one. Okay. So I thought this might be his house. Interesting. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, this is exciting. They bought in 2021. Interesting. Oh my gosh. Let's see how this goes. He won't remember me. Oh, I hope he answers. Hello? Hello, Leonard? It says on hold. Maybe we accidentally got put on hold. Let's try again. The double dial is the new single dial, you know?
Hello, this is Leonard.
Hey, Leonard. This is Ingryd Hernandez. I don't know if you remember who I am. It's totally okay if you don't.
First name again?
Ingryd?
I don't remember you. I'm sorry.
That's totally okay. We used to work at Keller Williams together. Jessica Morale is my cousin.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know you.
Okay. No worries.
So you're related to Michael?
Yes, Michael Hernandez
Jessica,
is my cousin.
The whole gang.
The whole gang. I mean, half the family are agents. You know what I'm saying? So I can't help
Yeah,
it.
I know. You guys are just double, triple dippers.
Yeah, we can't help ourselves. So how have you been?
I've been good. I'm kind of working up in the White Mountains and in the Valley. So I'm up in the White Mountains working this week.
Oh, well, I'm totally jealous because we love going up there. That's awesome.
Well, you need to let me find you a place to buy.
Only if I can buy it through creative finance. But the answer would be yes.
You can buy it any way you want.
All right. So cool. But hey, Leonard, the reason I'm calling is I also noticed you have a listing in Gilbert that's been up for sale for a minute. Any bites or?
Well, we've had a lot of looking, especially since we dropped the price to where it's at right now. I mean, I get a viewing almost every other day.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell at this price, it's my son's house. He's going to go back and put it on the rental market.
Gotcha. I walked this house before with my cousin, who I think at the time was looking to buy, and you were so sweet to us to let us like go see the house. I can't remember all the circumstance, but we definitely have been in the house.
Well, they've done some updating and sprucing up before they put it on the market. We had, with the monsoon storms that came through, we had some shingles blown off, so we hired a roofing company to go up and take care of all of that, replace the gutters that were on the back deck. He's got a new pool pump filter on it, and he's painted the inside and ripped out the carpet and put some luxury vinyl on the steps and carpet in the bedrooms.
Yeah, it looks like it. I was looking at the pictures, and yeah, it looks ready to roll. Well, the reason I'm calling is I'm focused more now on investing, and so I like to buy houses to also rent them out. And I was trying to see if your son, especially if he's used to just taking a paycheck not paycheck, but a mailbox money every month, other than when he has to go deal with toilets or tenants. Wondering if I can recreate a similar circumstance, if maybe he would be willing to consider selling it on Creative.
Well, I'd have to look at the bottom line numbers for him. I've already given him numbers. Right now, that house is worth $2,400 a month on the rental side. I have rental properties. I have one in downtown Gilbert, one in Chandler, and my other son has 2 properties. So we're up to together. We're up to 6 properties, and that's, I think, with my guidance, he's gonna prefer going that route on his own.
Yeah.
On the rental side, he's used to doing it. He's done it for 5 years, and I can't answer for sure. I mean, I can only look at what that looks like on paper to be able to decipher the numbers.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, I can definitely put something on paper, but what's his motivation to want to sell this property?
Well, they bought it for the purpose of housing their in-laws that were moving from Cape Town, South Africa. They came to Arizona. They were here for about 6 months before they had finalized cleaning and getting the house ready. And then they were just disenchanted with Arizona and went back to South Africa.
That bad, huh?
We are international. Yes, we are. Yeah. So they went back to South Africa. My son decided, and his wife is from South Africa.
Yeah.
Let's just rent it, and they did that for 5 years. And they had a tenant in there that was making noise that he wanted to buy it. So they said, well, we'll hang on to it for a little longer. You let us know when you're ready. They did, and the tenant said, we're going to move somewhere else. So now we're on the market. That's the story.
Got
it. The motivation, they don't need the money. They make good money. They know that rentals are going to make good money for them. They have me coaching them on that part of it. So there's no real hurry.
Okay. Well, obviously this is in Gilbert, which makes it even more attractive for someone like me. I would love to see if maybe if I can send something to you. By the way, I totally understand if you're like, she's out of her mind, when I send something to you. But so like I was saying, I buy Creative. So what we do is buy properties have you heard of SubTo, the existing mortgage? Have you heard of that strategy? No?
No, I'm pretty much just have dealt with conventional VA, FHA, and then I've done 2 owner carrybacks. So
Oh, okay. So when I first started, and you probably don't want to hear this whole backstory, but like when I first started real estate and Jessica was like, yeah, you would be a great agent and you'd be a great investor, like way back when, I had no idea about any creative finance. Even seller carryback felt like a really foreign thing to me. And I met this guy named Pace Morby who does an investor mentorship. And then I found out that there's an old school cat. His name is Ron. Oh gosh, his name eludes me. When I remember, I will text you. But he actually has been doing creative finance like this since like the 70s and made like this huge thing with like the LA Times back when and said like, hey, I can find a house in like less than a day and buy it this way. So it was very intriguing because I'm like, wait a second, I can buy a house with a limited amount of money, right? Because my problem is I didn't have a lot of capital, and I can take advantage of somebody already having a mortgage with a good rate. So I don't have to go and get another mortgage with another maybe larger rate as an investor, and be able to so we also use what's called a servicing company in the middle.
Okay, hang on, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
So essentially what you're talking about is a wrap.
That is essentially, yes.
Where the existing underlining note stays the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
and the interest rate stays the way it is, and then your promissory note is the difference between the existing note and the purchase price, and my son or the owner would essentially carry your note as a wrap. We'd use Mangus servicing, and what interest rate are you paying on the
note? So I've been really lucky where I've overpaid for my properties so that I don't have to actually put an interest rate onto it. But everything's negotiable, right? Because ideally, the scenario is how do I cash flow and still give the seller what they want, right? And to your point, if we're trying to maximize how much they make out of this house, is like, okay, well, I'll overpay, $25,000, $50,000 if it means I don't have to carry an interest and I can stabilize what the rent would look like for me, right? So, yeah, that's kind of how I've worked it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm familiar with those. I've done 2 of them myself. And,
oh, that's cool.
I'm not a fan, and I don't want to put my son and his wife in an awkward situation, guiding them through that.
Yeah.
I did one personally that went south, and I had to foreclose. The cost to foreclose is about $3,000. That was 5 years ago, and then I ended up stuck with the house, and it's just not. And first, secondly, I don't know that. I mean, are you going through the office on this, or where are you hanging your license at?
I hang my license with Real Brokerage. They're aware that I'm an investor.
I'm familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
So do they condone the wrap type loans?
So I'm doing it in my own entity LLC, which when we go under contract, I do disclose that I'm a licensed agent. So I do follow all the requirements in my in how I do business with Real Brokerage and how I hang my license. But
do you attorney draw up the agreement?
Yes, absolutely. I use Sean St. Clair, who is an attorney out here in the Scottsdale area. But one thing I wanted to tell you, one way to avoid that whole foreclosure process that I'm sure was painful and sucked really for you to go through. What we put in place is called the performance deed, so that if I were to miss more than 2 payments, the servicer's responsibility at that point at a specific day. So let's say day 46, they would have the responsibility to notify that, hey, I've now broken a part of or I now breached the contract we have in place that the servicer is supposed to service, and then that the deed would then get transferred back to the seller.
You realize that a conventional loan, such as the one that they have on the house, can be called on demand at any time if they find out that there's a wrap loan essentially on the house?
Yes, I do. So if it becomes a point of large objection from a seller, then what we do, instead of doing what's called a wrap that you're more familiar with, we usually do an agreement for sale. So if it's an objection that's too much for the seller, like sellers like, no, I don't want to risk the due on sale clause, we'll do an agreement for sale instead.
Yeah, so this is what's going to be happening, just so that you can prepare yourself. Companies like the major banks and people that are holding the paper on conventional loans at low interest rates, which this interest rate is right at 3%.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go back to any of these to dig out and find out if any of them are being wrapped, and then they're going to call those notes.
Yeah, an agreement for sale, they can't call a note due on that because the deed technically stays in your son's name. And what we do is we technically cloud title, so it doesn't allow your son to just bypass us and then sell it to somebody else.
No, I know that, but the servicing the company that owns the paper on it, whoever bought the note from the lender, the note prohibits a secondary note because you go into second position. You realize that?
Well, that's
First
not
position
entirely
is the
true.
primary note. Second position is going to be the amount that is part of the sale.
So if that were
So
the
I'd have to look at your number one, a sample contract that an attorney has drawn up, and then I'll have to study that and run it by my attorney to see how that would play out before I even present it to my son.
Yeah, no, that I think that's the responsible thing to do, and I would appreciate that you would do that. That's great. What I was going to say is that loans do have to accommodate for different liens. Otherwise, things like HELOCs, mechanics liens, solar liens, water softener liens, they wouldn't actually be able to register those liens if more than one.
Mechanical liens are not the same as a secondary note, and a HELOC doesn't have another party on the HELOC. It's still, the HELOC is owned by the primary borrower anyway. So that's a little different situation than having a third party that is, it's not a mechanical lien. A mechanical lien, I certainly understand that. Or if there's an unpaid cloud on
a tax lien, a child custody lien,
a tax lien or something like that, those are always there. But when you borrow the money intentionally, fully from, and there's another party making the underlying note payment and the secondary note payment, I'm assuming it would as soon as you make the payment to the servicing company, the servicing company cuts a check.
Yep.
to the underlying note.
Yes.
And then the residual payment would go to the owner of the property.
Well, it wouldn't be residual. It would be two notes that they're servicing: the primary mortgage and then the one that goes to the seller.
Well, I need to look at your paperwork.
Yeah.
There's too many moving parts to tell you yes or no right now.
No, I totally understand. And I appreciate we are even having this discussion. So I love that you even had the background to understand sort of the way I've been buying properties.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that people don't know about me.
No, I love it. I love it. I also know you played, you're mad at that guitar. So it's been a minute since I've listened.
I enjoy music too.
Yeah, no, I love it. So awesome. Okay. Well, Leonard, I am so happy to have talked to you. I know it's been a long time, and I really appreciate you having this background. It was so cool because most people that I talk to, you know, a lot of this is newer. And again, I totally appreciate bringing a lawyer into the perspective, because just as when you have fiduciary responsibility, if something is beyond your understanding, it's important for us to make sure that our clients know what they're getting into. So that's great.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, send me something to look at, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Leonard.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Well, I knew Leonard. I actually have walked this property with my cousin who was looking to rent, I believe at the time, not quite ready to buy. So his guard was obviously up, and for good reason. He's had a bad rap experience. And so had he known about the performance deed, he might have been able to save himself $3,000 and some headache. Now, that is a risk, right? When you decide to sell creatively, you're deciding to sell and become an investor of sorts, honestly. And so if his seller, who is his son, were to decide to sell this way, he would want to consider, okay, what are my risks factors here, you know? And that's why it's important for us to position and make understood that my goal is to make money here. I'm not your typical off the street person who wants to live in the house, maybe is a 9-to-5 employee, and just has a different mindset in making things work, you know? And I'm not speaking down to anybody in that seat, but that was an interesting call. I had to bring my game. I don't know if y'all saw that, because really tested whether or not I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully it came out okay. So anywho, I believe it's probably in his best interest, his son's best interest, to continue renting it. I mean, it's an asset. Why would you want to get rid of it if that's the case? But I didn't even get a chance to talk about the tax benefits of selling this way, if this has always been an investment, right? If I'm able to pay that equity, and let's say we come to terms for like 10 years, well, now, and I'm not a CPA, so you have to talk to a CPA, but now he has 10 years to mitigate that capital gains tax, which I didn't even get a chance to talk about, but it might be something I would write in the email as I make my presentation. So I'm so glad you learned something, Kalisha. Awesome. I love it. Yes, you were amazing. So impressed by how you could answer every question. Awesome sauce. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Learning so much. Great. I love how you had answers. Awesome. Should I make another call? Do we have time for one more? I know despite maybe how good I answered the call, I do read into a lot of the energy, and the energy at the end of that call was not necessarily the kind of energy I would want to end the night with. I don't know if he was as up for it as possible, which is okay. This isn't for everybody. It is a risky, creative finance is a risky approach. Let's just be real with it. So anyway, hi, Carly. Thank you so much. All right, we'll make another call. And we'll see how this, maybe I don't know this person. So they had similar questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. This one. Okay. This person I know we've talked to. This one, no. Okay, I'm just going down the line. Open door. Okay. I'm going to go into maybe a higher price point. Get a lot off my chest right there. I felt that energy. Yeah, that's why it's good to know, Kalisha, that there's things that can help protect the seller, because you do want a balanced contract. Like if you're going to have to sit in front of a judge, if something happens, you want to say, hey, I did try to protect the seller. Here's how I tried doing it. Thank you for sharing. I almost had a deal in Ohio last year in November by SMS, but didn't know what I was doing back then. How is your basic structure on these calls? Still the same questions. I don't do a script, so I kind of feel out like what kind of energy the person on the other line has. Try to mirror them, right? Like just as we get taught. And hey, Vince, Vince and I might have to send out an option contract tonight. Well, I don't know if tonight, maybe by tomorrow morning, to somebody who I think is asking too much. But an option contract is a way for you to kind of have one foot in the door, one foot out, and kind of test the market and not necessarily fully commit to a seller. So we're gonna see where that takes us. Okay, this looks like it's a flip. So before I call and say, yo, it is a flip. It's got hard money on it. So let's go look for a different one. Anywho, I door knocked a foreclosure right and the property is being listed. How do you approach this deal? I door knocked a foreclosure right and the property is being listed. How do you approach this deal? Well, if the property is listed, I would approach it like I would any other property. Like if there's an agent involved, then you just talk to the agent and tell them how you might be able to provide an answer to their seller who other people may not have been able to do that. So stuff like days on market, 4 pillars, and rundown status, HOA, open house, price change. Do you ask them on the combo? No, I can see MLS. I can see the price changes. I do ask about the pillars, but some of these properties, because they're on MLS, I can see some of what they've said about updates. The house that we just talked about, I've actually walked it. I know what condition it was before that. They did the absolute minimum to fix that house up. And I would not have re-put carpet in that house. It's a 2-story, has a pool. You're just going to track all of that wetness in the house. So yeah, but yeah, no, you should always do your 4 pillars, which is what's your motivation, condition of the house, the price point, and I'm blanking out. Price, timeline. Did I say that? Price, timeline, motivation, and condition of the property. Those are your 4. In HOA, I could already tell. I actually filtered this list to not have an HOA, so I already knew. Okay. All right. Vince is late to the party, but luckily this party is recorded, so you can party as long as you want to party by replaying it. And again, I'm doing this whole week to raise money for Latinos Contra Cancer. So if you find any value in the calls that we're doing, anything like that, or in the questions I'm answering, please go to the Linktree link in my bio, where you'll find the Latinos Contra Cancer link and make your donation. Remember, it's a tax-deductible donation because they are a nonprofit. So for all of you who killed it this year for wholesaling, that's a way to mitigate your tax requirements. Also, because we raised $1,000 this week, we have, I have posted my letter of intent template letter and also my entry fee calculator as I promised. So have at it. You'll also find that in my Linktree link as well. So there you go. And I fixed the link for the LOI. All right. This looks all new. I always suspect a really good looking house that might be flipped. You know what I'm saying? But you never know. You never know. Do, 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 do. Huh. Interesting. They have different loans on this property. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh my God, is that Jem? For real, for real? Should we have Jem try to join us? See if he'll do it. You see that? I just didn't even ask. I was like, let's see if Jem will. I have no idea. Again, he might be on the toilet, and here I am asking, like, join us. Who knows? Oh my goodness. Oh, my Spanglish is on point. Yeah. By the way, I thought I did okay with the guy who was Vince brought me a lead and I had to talk to the seller. So I don't just talk to agents. I've actually mostly talked to sellers. Talking to agents is newer to me. Like literally within the last couple of weeks, talking to agents is what I've started to do. But the reason I am doing this is to raise money for Latinos Contra El Cancer. But Vince brought me this guy. I ended up having to talk to him. In most of the call was in Spanish. We talked for almost an hour, and that's why I was late to my live. So it was for good reason, as we tried to figure out if we could help him. What we are going to do with that one is put an option contract together and see if we can find him a retail buyer in a completely different kind of way. So maybe we'll talk about it if we're successful. It's a Hail Mary throw, and we'll see where it takes us. I would join on the toilet, right? I have taken calls on the toilet. Sometimes you guys, oh my gosh, some of these calls, like, they take forever, and a girl's bladder is only so big. So what? I can't help it. I'm just telling you the truth. So a lot of these properties make sense for creative. A lot. I'm going to start asking them if open to terms and if we can discuss together with the team, aka you guys. All right. Sounds like you should have been doing that for the last 2 months. Come on now. You got this, Joel. All right. This is a really pretty house in Tempe. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I wish it was 4-bedroom. The pictures aren't showing up.
Hello, this is Wendy. May I help you?
Hi, Wendy. My name is Ingryd Hernandez, and I'm calling about your property on McCullops in Scottsdale. Do you have time to speak about it?
I do.
Oh, okay. Awesome. The reason for my call is I am a local investor. I'm also an agent, but I focus on investing. And I'm looking for properties that maybe have been sitting on the market for a little bit, and maybe the seller is open to a more creative finance offer.
That listing is probably not for you. It's already been completely rehabbed.
Okay.
That property is fully rehabbed.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something to rehab, that's not it.
I'm not necessarily looking for something to rehab. I actually prefer if it's in like perfect condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to say there's no room for negotiation, but there definitely is still room for negotiation, but he's not ready to wholesale it. He doesn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's retired. He does have an idea of what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly I think he wants to pull the equity out to move on to other projects.
Got it.
But
Okay.
he is living in it. It is his primary residence.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's all good information to know. When he did the with the rehab, do you know if he changed any of the major systems in the house, like the AC, the plumbing, that sort of thing?
Hold on. I'm going to go into a different room.
Okay.
I can't hear you very well, and I don't know if it's my family talking.
Yeah, it sounds loud. It sounds loud on your side.
Okay. So now, when he did the rehab, what's your question?
Oh, if he also changed the major systems, like I'm actually currently rehabbing a house in Tempe right now, and we discovered we had to change, the plumbing, move a gas line, things like that. So just curious if he did any of that with the age of the home.
I don't know the answer to that. I do have, I have Spuds, but he's owned the home for several years, and he did, I don't know if he's updated them, because he says, I've done stuff, consistently.
Yeah.
Throughout years, and he goes, I don't really remember everything I've done. But he, by trade, was a master plumber, so there is a very good likelihood that he did upgrade plumbing.
Yeah.
When I think he did retire from plumbing, but he was still really young, so he went to work for the city of Tempe, and he was a building inspector, I believe.
Oh, building inspector. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then he retired from that job.
Yeah.
So, knowing that history, I think there's a strong possibility that the plumbing has been done.
Yeah.
But I have not reviewed those spuds, so I cannot say 100%. He did send them to me.
Yeah.
But I have not looked at them. And so I'm more than happy to share those with you, and also, put a call into him to ask him those specific types of questions.
Sure.
So I can ask him about the plumbing. I know, the island is definitely new. If you look through the photos.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful, and it's one reason I'm calling, because, like I was mentioning to you, I love when houses are a bit more complete, and also, maybe you didn't hear me, and I totally understand. Sounds like you may have been in like a louder area, but I buy houses creatively, so I would love to give him the number he's looking for if we can come to terms.
Okay. I mean, at this point, if it's really, a lowball investor offer, he has had me reject those. But if it's a viable offer that shows, acknowledge that he has put the money into the home. Because what I've been getting most recently is other properties in the neighborhood that are active, not even sold, active. Oh, well, this house is active and it's priced significantly under, but there are also homes that haven't done anything to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But having said that, it has been on the market a while. He's in a position where he can be a little choosier. And like I said, he's not unwilling to negotiate. He's just not willing to give it away.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't want to have him give it away. In fact, I think your original price was almost $750, and to make it enticing for him, especially since I would. So, are you familiar with like seller carryback?
I am familiar with the carryback. I also have experiences title and escrow. So on some of my other listings, what I've been getting approached on quite a bit are wraps, where that somebody, they just want to take over the existing payments and set it up with servicing. I don't know that would necessarily work for him, because he wants to get the cash out to move on to his next project. But I wouldn't necessarily dismiss it out of hand.
So, what kind of offers were you getting with those? If it's not something that worked out, were they still lowballing you even on wraps?
No, and I've not received an offer on a wrap on his home. The homes are significantly smaller. They're in different locations. So we're talking Avondale, Goodyear area.
Yeah.
Small, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Built in the late 90s, early 2000s, and not a whole lot of updating. Not a whole lot of cosmetic updating, I should say. The one that I keep getting offers on, and it's not that they're not lowball offers. They're all wraps, and my client just doesn't want to do that. Her parents co-sign for her, and she wants them to be able to get out from underneath it.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, now I've not approached this particular seller on a wrap because I have not received an offer. I don't know that he would. I don't know if it would work. It really would depend on what the down payment is as to whether or not it would work for him. Again, since he's wanting to reinvest in something else, a wrap may not work. But it could. I mean, he's been in the home long enough that that it might not matter.
Got it.
Just hard to say.
Do you know where he'll go if he does sell this, if he's living in it?
There is another home in the neighborhood that he was looking at possibly buying, moving into, and rehabbing it at the same time. He also owns quite a few parcels out in Tonopah that he's wanting to develop. And so it really depends, because he, on the purchase where he'll end up living, he needs to get that at a significantly decent price in order to still do what he wants to do in Tonopah. And I just keep telling him that he might not be able to do everything that he wants to do. We have switched from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And and it took him longer than what he wanted to get it ready for market. And he missed it.
Oh, totally. From a flipper to a flipper, trust me. I have the same circumstance with two properties, one in Tempe. I know that this is more North Tempe. I have one over by, Hardy and Broadway. I'm flipping a Tempe house over there, and I wish it was already done. But, we closed on it in July, so it's not like, we really started rehabbing it mid-August, but it's a major rehab. The people who lived there smoked, so we had to redo duct work, everything, right? And so It's interesting how much cigarettes can really ruin a property. But that, and then we have another property in Tucson that we're in the middle of renovating, another one in Chandler that we're in the middle of renovating. So I feel his pain, absolutely. I know what that's like. Because of that, we're having to pivot, right? We're pivoting with those properties. We might have to just go get even maybe a potential interest only loan just to keep the payments reasonable, which is really sad to say. But that's why I'm also doing outreach right now for properties that have been on the market that are in really good condition, because something that really caught my eye with this property is that it's in an area where I could do short-term rental, and it's got all the pieces of that I am 100% looking for. So I would love to see if maybe we can come to terms with him, and we can get as creative as possible. I love the fact that he's an investor, so he has an understanding of what it takes to make money right now in this market. So anywho, I would love to send an offer. I would even love to see, and however you feel comfortable, if maybe we can have a conversation about this house all together, and see if we can come up with something that, favors all.
I am not opposed to that. I will check with him to see if he is open to something like that. I think initially he might like to see an offer from you.
Sure.
I can let him know that, this is a starting point. If we can have further discussions, that I have talked to you in length, and if there's something about the offer that he is uncomfortable with, we can set up a call, because I know sometimes it can get lost in translation. But if we have an initial offer to review, just to get the ball rolling, I think that would go better.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is his primary residence, but he is an investor, and he does want to sell it because he wants to move on to other projects.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. What I was thinking, and I'm just spitballing, just to see about what we might be able to do, because he's already invested into this property, and I'm sure he wants to maximize his dollars. What I'm thinking is that even after we purchase the property, then maybe he still is a partner in this property, as I do believe that this property would do well in a short-term rental scenario. So maybe something like an equity partner, something like that. And that's why I'm saying, if he's got an investor's brain, it might be really lucrative for us to team up, especially since I have the personnel to really run this well. And in the end, we might even make him more money. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay. I'd say write something up that he can look over and review, and then we can go from there.
Cool. I'll send you like a summary, what I call a letter of intent.
Yep.
And then I'll just put a couple options on there to like get his creative juices, going and see where we could take this.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy. It was nice talking
You're
to
very
you.
welcome.
Oh,
Likewise.
forgive
Yes.
me. If you have any other properties like this that, you've had a hard time selling, that maybe wraps woodwork, happy to have that discussion too, so that maybe we can help your sellers out.
Okay. I don't have anything like that right now. The one in Goodyear, if she was in a different financial position, might have worked for a wrap. The other one I have is a fix and flip, and he's in a hard money loan, so a wrap is not going to work.
Have you
I don't know why anybody would want to pay that.
No, trust me, I understand that. Do you know, and just maybe to see in helping your clients out in Goodyear, do you know if maybe their loan is assumable? Because you and I both know right now that rates are ridiculous. And if they have a really great rate in that property and that loan is assumable, I'd happy to take a look and see if maybe we can assume the loan. And do you know how big the house is? Is it, in pretty good condition?
It is in really good condition. It had, when she purchased it last December, she hasn't even been in it a year yet.
Oof.
Her fiance split.
Aww.
So, but it is in her name only, so at least that's the good part. But when she purchased it, it had a brand new roof, and it had a brand new AC. I don't know why, but the previous owner had carpet in the master bathroom. And so I had her take that out, and we just finished a remodel in our house, and so we had some leftover travertine that I donated.
Oh my God, you're the kind of best agent. I love that. Bless your heart.
Yeah, so she's got beautiful silver travertine in the master bathroom now.
Yeah.
And then I recommended that she paint the cabinets in the master bathroom and the kitchen as well to a soft gray.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know, is this a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom?
It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Let me see here real quick.
Okay.
I don't want to give you the wrong square footage. It's kind of nice. It's not a cul-de-sac, but it kind of has the features of a cul-de-sac. It's at a dead end.
Okay.
And so it's not got the big round circle, but it's at a dead end, and they are the last house on it. And there's another subdivision right on the other side. I'm not sure why they did it that way, because it's just another phase of the same subdivision.
Oh, so it's probably another developer. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Well, yeah, I would love to, if you could find out whether or not that loan is assumable. If it is, I am in a position to potentially do that as well. And then seeing about paying her, because again, right now, getting a loan is just so difficult. Like, how can we still get her the money she wants? Maybe not as quickly as she wants. One of the things that we can do is, like, let's say rates hit a 5% again. Okay, we could say within 3 months of rates hitting a 5%, requiring a refinance, so that the total that is still her equity, right? Because this is just still a wrap. The total that is her equity then needs to be paid out, something like that. So it's more, it doesn't put anybody in a position to make the banks even more rich than they already are, right? So, anywho.
Okay, I can find out if it's assumable. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,266 square feet.
Okay.
And the lot size is 6,600.
Oh, that's a nice lot size. Okay.
It is, and because it's a smaller home, it has a huge backyard.
Fantastic. Yeah.
They didn't. It has a decent front yard, but they really left the bulk of the lot to the backyard, which is great.
Yeah.
It's in Wildflower Ranch, and so one of the beauties of Wildflower is HOA is quarterly, and it's $53. So you are paying less than $20 a month for your HOA.
Oh, that's great. Okay, super. Does the HOA? But I'm assuming the HOA doesn't have anything else then, like a pool or.
It
park?
doesn't. It has an RV gate, but it does not have a pool.
Yeah. Okay. Totally
So-
cool. All right. I will look your name up and so that I can pull up the listing, and then we'll see. I'm thinking of someone in my head so that I can help them maybe move into a house, a family member. So, anywho, okay.
Now, I just had the home re-photographed, and I got the photos today, so the new photos haven't been uploaded. So if you look at it today, you're going to see carpet in the master bathroom, and you're going to see that light oak finish on cabinetry.
Okay. I'll definitely wait then.
Okay, I will get those uploaded hopefully later this evening, because I have movers have been at my home all week long, bringing all of our furniture back. So I want to get that done before I have to go back over to my house and put my homeowner hat on and directing everybody. We had a flood, so this was an impromptu remodel. It was not a plan. So we were displaced, and we've been in temporary housing since early June.
Oh my goodness. What kind of flood was it? Was it a dishwasher?
Washer machine, water hose.
Dang.
And which normally, you're home when that happens, and so you catch it. But no, I was on vacation in California.
Ah, darn it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we always turn our water off when we leave the state, just because we know it. What is that called? Murphy's Law? It's just going to happen then. Mm-hmm.
Never even dawned on us that something like that could happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'll bet you're going to have an amazing floor now.
Yes, I'm excited.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for the call, Wendy. I really appreciate your open-mindedness, and I'll see about getting that LOI for you on that house in Tempe, and then we'll reconnect about the property out in Goodyear.
Okay, sounds great.
Cool. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Dang, I talked to her for almost 22 minutes. That's a lot. But yeah, midterm rentals for sure, Vince. For reals. Who needs bathroom mats when you can just Okay, so the house I used to have in the city of Maricopa, I had a ginormous master bathroom, which there was no door because it was so big. Everything was open. The carpet went right into it as well. And we were just kids, so we were broke for a really long time and could not afford to get our carpet replaced. So I feel for the girl who couldn't replace her carpet. Look, she had to get tile from her agent, and her agent sounds like an angel. So anywho, hopefully we learned something. I am in a unique position to be able to assume loans. I know not everybody is in that position. But if it's what's going to help sell the house, and we might be able to still take it over creative. I was sincerely thinking about a family member when I was thinking about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I really wish it was 4-bedroom. We'll see, because it's still a possibility. But we'll see. Okay, so while I still have you, and I'm going to go ahead and close this session out. Please consider donating to Latinos Contra El Cancer, who's an amazing organization that helps the underserved community here, bust a lot of myths about cancer and what that help looks like. Get your butt into the doctor to get checked. Make sure that you have the resources you need for when you need, when the unforeseen future may come of getting a cancer diagnosis. There's such a great group. It was started by one of my best friends who actually had ovarian cancer as a young agent person, or agent, I don't want to say agent. I just read somebody, ADD, a young college kid. And so it was a very trying time for her. And my mom, who also had breast cancer about 7 years ago, she's a surviving she's a breast cancer survivor. And so groups like this help folks like that, it's daunting. I still remember it being such a daunting scenario, calling whoever I could to see about how can we help my mom at the time when she had her diagnosis. And unimpressed I was with some doctors who were very cold with her when she got her diagnosis. I would have totally beat them up if I could. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Because we reached $1,000 this week, I did upload the entry fee calculator that you can copy, because I'm not going to give further access to it. You can just copy into your own Excel or Google spreadsheet, and the LOI, which is a letter of intent template, which I will be using tonight with Wendy for the property that we're sending an offer in. How do you structure the commission of agents for an on-market creative deal, more specifically a seller finance deal? Usually your down payment to the seller, because it's the seller's responsibility for the commission. Your down payment to the seller should cover the agent's commission. If, let's say, the deal is tight and the seller would not be happy to part ways with part of his down payment, or his or her down payment, I would recommend having a frank conversation with the agent and saying, hey, what happens if you don't sell this house? Will it expire and you not have any other opportunity? Well, if that's the case, then you need to talk about reducing your commissions so that it makes things work. And I'm a fully transparent person. Even in that scenario, for example, if I was taking more money than the agent, I would feel some type of way. Like I don't need bad money karma in my life. So I would definitely show the math. That's me. This is the way I operate. Show the math and show like, hey, this is how I can't make this work. So there you go. We were thinking of the entry fee, but that makes more sense. Yep. If you're using that entry fee calculator, it doesn't necessarily call the agent's commission, I don't believe, because the seller's down payment should cover the agent commission. But to your point, in the nuance that it's not enough to cover, you just got to have that frank conversation and come to terms with the agent as well. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone. Really appreciate everybody joining. Thank you so much. Tomorrow will be my last day on this epic 5-day in a row. I may have some special guests coming on board with me, and they'll probably be live with me. So I'm so excited, and we'll see where that energy takes us. Take care and have a great night. Remember, go donate. All right. Thanks, YouTube.